Hello and welcome. My name is Elisa Di Napoli and I am a holistic clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, coach, author, and today I want to talk about how to deal with anxiety and during these times of extreme uncertainty. I have other videos as well about this topic, so if you have not watched my videos about how to prevent and diffuse panic attacks or how to deal with highly emotional distress using EFT, then you can go back to my page Hypnotic Healing on Facebook and you'll find links to those videos. But today I want to talk about these times that we're finding ourselves in, these times of uncertainty. And I want to also give you something very, very practical that you can take with you. So we'll be offering you a free mp3 at the end of this Facebook Live, totally free, no strings attached, and you'll be able to just download it from my site. You can actually see, I believe, up there, a picture of what that is. But I want to explain first of all a little bit about why this would be helpful and other techniques as well, other things you can do to help yourself. So how do we cope with the chaos of uncertain times? We are living in extreme uncertain times. We don't know what may or may not happen. We have anything could happen to anyone at any point, at any time. And you may feel worried right now. I certainly can say I have felt the worry myself. You may feel it's difficult to keep anxious thoughts in check. You may feel unsure about the future. And then to make all of this worse, perhaps you even say to yourself things such as, well, I shouldn't feel this way. I should use this time to be more creative. This is an opportunity, but then feel that you're not using the time in the best way possible. And I would say try to avoid judging yourself for actually having the feelings you do have, because in times such as these, it is actually more important to be kind and compassionate towards yourself. It takes time to adjust to this situation. And so I would urge you to actually try not to judge yourself for the feelings you have. Now, why do we panic so much? And why do we have this anxiety in times of uncertainty? Because, well, as humans, we like to imagine the future. We have the ability to imagine the future, and often this has served us well. But during times of uncertainty, well, literally anything could be happening to anyone at any time, like I said before, and so we may just fill our minds with catastrophic images, terrifying images of a terrible future. And that's what anxiety is. So the thing is, when we're uncertain, this ignites our primitive survival instinct. If we can't neutralize a perceived threat, what we often do is we engage in an unhelpful process, which we call worry. So we grapple with whatever the problem is to try and find solutions. But the problem is there are no straightforward solutions. So when that happens, we feel worse. We are wired to catastrophize. We view or we talk about the situation even as worse than it may be. That's what we normally do because we like to anticipate. This leads to worry. That's what worry is. And we might indulge in questions such as, what's going to happen? What is around the corner? What should I be doing, less or more? What if my business is threatened? What if I can't pay the bills? And what even if my partner dies or my life is threatened? And Because we have no answers for these questions, this can lead to anger, frustration, even aggression. So how do we mitigate this uncertainty? So I want to give you some pointers, but also I go very, very much in detail about what you can do in my article on my website hypnotichealing.co.uk/uncertainty. I'll leave a link below. So the things though that we can do straight away are, first of all, we need to actually be aware of our feelings and accept that they are what they are without trying to change them or run away from them. That's going to be our first instinct, but actually, can you lean into it? Can you lean into the feeling, the discomfort? It's not going to stay there forever. It is always passing because everything is constantly changing. You may have heard that before, and it may not be something that comes natural. But can you lean into it? Can you turn towards the very thing that you're trying to run away from? The other thing that's very important is to notice the story you're telling yourself, such as, the images you are focusing on. And I go in great detail about this in my article. If we've got time, I'd like to actually give you a little bit more about that because it's quite important. You can use diaphragmatic breathing, which I describe very much in my article, No More Panic. And it explains how to diffuse panic attacks if you have really strong anxiety levels. And recognize that you're having a fight or flight moment. It's important to accept uncertainty because we actually cannot control anything, and the idea that we could control anything, it's an illusion anyway. And I think in these times, all the pacifiers have been taken away from us, all the distractions have been taken away from us, and we've realized we cannot control externals. We like to think we can, but it's an illusion. And so now we are faced with the reality that we cannot control externals. We can only control our reactions to events. So can you accept uncertainty? Can you accept that you cannot control externals? And can you focus on resilience? Thinking about the fact that you have survived times in the past that were really, really hard, and maybe you didn't think you could, but then when it came to it, when you came to the cracks, you could actually be resilient. Maybe not immediately. Maybe first you needed to actually feel the suffering and even collapse into it, but it never really lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. So eventually you picked yourself up and you dealt with the situation. So can you actually remember that you have coping skills, that you can survive, that when it comes to it, you will be able to cope with whatever situation may be, even extreme grief. Now, there are things that can help you to come back to the present, because in this moment, you're alive. In this moment, the catastrophe hasn't actually happened. And the anxiety comes from imagining the future. So one of the things we need to do is come back to the present. This is something that this hypnotic audio that I've just released can really help you to do. It can help you to come back to the present, learn how to calm yourself down, especially when you're triggered. And so I urge you to download it and see how it works for you, because even just 20 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Now, there are other things you can do as well. You may have already thought about these things, such as, the exercise and movement and meditation, self-hypnosis, activities that are oriented towards achievement, and things that are pleasant or fun. But I want to give you very specific ways to reduce and prevent high anxiety levels. So here are my 5 ways to reduce them from right now. Okay, so the first thing is I would suggest or invite you to limit the news and other triggers to your anxiety. Now, of course, you want to stay informed, but listening to the news every 5 minutes, listening and watching TV and reading an article about coronavirus, well, it isn't going to help. You're going to be triggered by this. I certainly can say that I am. And I have limited my amount of watching the news to just once a day. So make sure that you're in charge of how much you're exposed to the news and for how long. And make sure that when you talk to your friends, you talk about other things as well. You know, that you can discuss things online or over the phone that are different from what's actually going on. The second thing that I would suggest is to change your focus, which is of course related to what I've just said. Like I said before, anxiety is all about imagining catastrophic future scenarios. Now, although it's possible that these scenarios may come through, well, it's only one side to the story, isn't it? You know, balance is necessary. So we don't want to push away these thoughts because what we resist persists. Instead, could you acknowledge them, but also remind yourself that there are other possibilities? We're not certain about anything, and not even catastrophic scenarios. So things could turn out better than you imagined. There are many possible scenarios. So I would invite you to take them into consideration. The third thing is to move your body. Now, changing physiology changes your mental state. So when you're feeling low, you know, you will tend to look down and frown. It's very hard to smile when you are looking down and frowning. But one simple exercise that I've learned during my actor training days was I would be asked, how would your body move if you were feeling excited or calm or playful? Try moving your body that way and notice how that changes the way you feel to match it. Experiment. You know, you could try skipping, running, dancing, or just moving to different kinds of music. Notice how that influences your mood. I certainly notice that when I wake up in the morning, if I put on a nice song and I start moving straight away, that will definitely boost my mood. Now, a very important other way of keeping your anxiety levels down is to make self-care an absolute priority. So what does that mean? Well, your immune system really needs a boost right now, and it needs to be as strong as possible. So eat well. You know, it's easy when we're feeling the way we are, stressed out, to just, you know, drink more and do all these, indulge in these self-harming behaviors that really don't help us. So how about instead concentrating on eating healthily? You are at home, so maybe you can cook more than you usually would if you are privileged enough, that is, to stay at home. Exercise, rest, sleep enough. It's really important to sleep. You know, keep also your brain interested. So it needs to be interested in stimulating activities, things that are fun, and try to socialize. Although I would say also try not to stay on your screen too much, because that is not really good for you anyway. So socializing to a degree that makes you feel connected but doesn't stress you out. And then finally, most of all, I would suggest to really focus on changing your emotional state. Now, of course, we won't accept the feelings we have, but sometimes this doesn't mean that we want to indulge in negative states all the time, because that's only going to drag us down, right? So there's like fine balance between absolutely being aware of our feelings, staying with them, letting them be, but then when it's been enough, actually taking responsibility for changing our state. So when we are feeling low, that's a non-resourceful state. And it's essential to know how to switch in a more resourceful state quickly. Now, because we've been talking now for, I don't know, quite a while, I would say, yeah, 15 minutes. I'm probably not going to go into it, but you can find about how to change state in great detail using NLP on my site hypnotichealing.co.uk/uncertainty. You can find out what are they, 1, 2, 3 very, very easy essential ways that you can really change your emotional state or learn how to do that. So I urge you to go and have a look, and I'll just give you pointers. One is about using language to reframe your experience. Another one is about using the right kind of questions to ask yourself. And the last one is about transforming your negative imaginings in very, very specific ways. So I hope this was informative for you. Do go ahead, download my Calm the Body and Mind free 20-minute hypnotic audio. It's really gonna help to feel more calm in your body so that you can face these times of uncertainty with as much resources as you can, staying strong, and that's gonna help you stay safe. So without further ado, I'll let you do that and see you the next time. Thank you for listening.